What's this? Do you guys remember this? Does it look familiar to you guys? I just want to give it a minute to sink in. This is, this is something that I used to destroy a movie before, and I'll use it again. You know what? I love this series. That's why I'm this mad. No, I don't know what I was saying, but... Woo! Welcome to my review. Return to the Sleepaway Camp reviews with my review of Return to Sleepaway Camp. And this movie came out in 2008. Gets a 4.2 on IMDb. Written by Robert Hiltzik, the director of the first movie. And I don't think I've ever laughed this hard while watching a movie. I really don't. I think I just destroyed this. Oh no, it's still working. But wow. This movie is the second movie that this director has made. He also wrote the movie. This and Sleepaway Camp are the only two movies he's ever made. So, yeah. Love the first movie. And I will say this, do I hate everything about the movie? No. But it has a lot of shitty stuff to it. But before we get into the review, I want to give it positives. Because positives make me relax a little bit. So let's get into the positives. I like the idea of a return to the Sleepaway Camp series. I like that. Pretty cool idea. I like how we got guys like Jonathan Tiersten coming back. Paul D'Angelo coming back. The short t-shirt, shorts, 80s freaking guy. The guy who's always wearing short shorts and short t-shirts, stuff like that. That guy's back in this movie and actually does a pretty decent job. So does Jonathan Tiersten. Both do decent acting jobs. And you've got Felissa Rose coming back. And throughout the entire movie, you wonder where she's at. Where's she at? Well, I'll tell you where she's at. We'll get to that in a second. With this piece of shit movie. Look at that. Look at that rage taken out on this. I don't care. Like I said, it was maybe $3 at most. Plus, I'm gonna rebuy that box set soon anyway, so I can destroy it all I want. Isn't that fun? But, where was I? Oh yeah, like I said, Jonathan Tiersten and Paul D'Angelo and Felissa Rose. Cool. A return to the series idea. Cool. Some of the kill ideas. Cool. You have a death scene where a guy gets a spike through his eye and walks around and hits a wall and it goes through his head. Alright, cool. You have a cool idea of gasoline being poured in this guy's stomach and then him being lit on fire from the inside out. Cool. There's a scene where a bunk bed on top has nails underneath of it and spikes. And the killer jumps on the top of it, and there's a girl below, splats her. It's pretty gory. Cool. There's a scene where a guy gets drowned in grease. Yeah, that's the end of the positive. So let's get into the negatives. All right, first negative. First negative is this movie could have been so goddamn good, and the cast, like I said, you got cast from the first movie. You got Vincent Prestero as Frank. He's the guy from The Sopranos. He's in this movie. He's a great actor. He's been in plenty of great movies. Great, accomplished actor. And he's in this movie. And you've got, like I said, Paul D'Angelo. You have some returning characters. You have potential in this movie. You know, the more I was watching, the more I realized, I'm like, well, you know, if if Paul D'Angelo was the main focus, the lead, if Jonathan Tiersten came back playing, in my opinion, the real Ricky, this Ricky was just an asshole, as well as 90% of this cast. Want to know what 90% of this cast is? Is assholes. 90% to almost 100%. What this cast is. The most of this cast is just nothing but generic stereotypes, generic teen characters. There's nothing to them. They're one-dimensional, and they're awful actors. And you have our lead character named Alan, played by Michael Gibney. And this character sucks. And he runs away. Somebody tries to help him. You leave me alone. You go away. I don't want to see you no more. That's his performance in this movie. That's all he does. That's all he does is whine. And you want to see how you build a decent character? Watch the first movie. Felissa Rose was not annoying. She didn't have awful dialogue. She didn't have an awful altogether character. She was quiet. You felt bad for her. She wasn't over the top. She wasn't annoying. That's how you do that. This movie failed on that. It failed. It fucking failed. And this cast, man, all of these characters are annoying, and this dialogue is so bad. Oh God, it makes me cringe. And the whole movie, I was just laughing. It's one of those movies that definitely you don't get bored with. You laugh at it again and again and again. Scene after scene is laughter. And I'm not laughing at it because it's entertaining. I'm not laughing at it because of the jokes. I'm laughing at it because of how pathetic it is as a movie. And how every scene is lazy. There's no attempt to put energy into any of these scenes. All scenes are bad. There's no energy. There's no funness to it. They turned the camp in the first movie was awesome. You know, it was done well. It seemed like a real camp, fun place. You know, it was like, all right, that's a cool camp. In this movie, they make it shitty. They make all the counselors assholes. Even one of them pushes and beats up the people there, the campers there. I'm like, this guy should be fired. You've got kitchens with fly strips over food and flies and cockroaches everywhere. I'm like, this camp is awful. It's being run by a guy named Frank, who's this guy who doesn't care about anything. And in this movie, you got another one of those movies where this older guy gets a 10, a blonde 10 somehow. And you got just awful characters, man. You got awful characters. You got these generic stoner kids, and I know I haven't gotten to the plot yet. I might as well get into it. So it takes place at the same camp as the first movie. It's years later, and there's this kid named Alan there, and he's being picked on by all these kids. What do you do? Why are you picking on me? That's all he does is whine. And it's annoying, man. He's over here whining, and he's like, every time you see him, he either his performance is cry and whine, be a bully, or just scream and run away. That's all he does. That's all he does. First, they try to make you feel sympathetic for him. Then they make him a bully. Then they make him back to feeling sympathetic again. Then they make him a bully. It's like, come on, man. What are you trying to do here? Make us feel bad for him or make him an asshole? Choose. It got annoying. And basically, the movie goes on, and he's being bullied again and again. There's the same guys from the first movie. They try to get in contact with Ricky from the first movie. And the guy in this movie, Ricky, is an asshole. That's all you know about him. He's just an asshole who doesn't care about anything. I'm like, wow, really? Wow. Make him just come back to be a douchebag. All right, fine. Then what was the point of that? Paul D'Angelo is trying to figure out what's doing this. He thinks it's Angela. He doesn't know if it's Angela. Nobody knows if it's really her, if it's Alan. Some think it's Alan. Some say Angela's back. Some say it's some other person. I don't care. I literally, this whole movie just did not care. I wanted the movie to be done 5 minutes in. I want it to end 5 minutes in. And, so he's being bullied, Alan is. There's deaths occurring all over the camp, and the movie goes on. You're just trying to figure out who's doing these killings. Is it Angela? Is it Alan? Is it somebody at the camp? Is it a counselor? Trying to figure that out until the twist, which we'll get into. Twist! You know, you got that twist in the end movie, man. It's like, dude, I'd rather watch a bad M. Night Shyamalan twist than this twist. A bad M. Night Shyamalan twist than this, man. I'd rather watch that. But, you got these bad, awful characters. These generic teen characters. The stoner guys, I swear to God, I thought they were saying they were smoking cow shit at first. I'm like, what the what? And then it's, oh no, just to prank somebody with that. I'm like, I swear to God, they said I was smoking. I thought they said that they were smoking cow shit. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And there's also a really decent scene where a guy gets tied up and he gets a string pulled tied down there. That pretty much is like Sleepaway Camp 3. It's tied to a truck, it drives off, and it winks his wiener off. It's like, okay, that was a pretty intense scene. The way it was done too. And I'm not gonna lie, like I said, it has some decent scenes. During the day, this movie looks cheap. The night sequences look actually pretty good. Like, if you look at the night sequences, the way it's shot, it reminds me of the first movie. So, you got the props for that. Alright, the night sequences do look decent. They look just like the first movie. And that was accomplished very well. You have certain scenes that I thought were directed decently. Like, most of the third act is actually directed decently. It's like the first and second half, or the first and second act is just nothing but shit. Then the third act is full of, I don't know how to say it, capable directing that's decent and some decent shots and, it's not great, but it's not horrible. The third act, besides the twist is god-awful. But the execution, I like the scene where Alan is running in the woods and there's these people lined up with paintball guns. Just the way that it was shot, decent scene. The night sequences all look good. There's a scene where the killer jumps in a bunk bed and smashes, because the bunk bed has spikes on it and it falls down. That was done decently. So the third act is actually the kind of the best part of the movie. It's a decent, capable third act, Nothing spectacular, but it's But when the other parts of your movie are shit, and the very end of your movie's twist is shit, then you still got a bad movie in my eyes. I'm sorry, you still do. You still do. And there's just nothing to say about it. The music sucks. The atmosphere during the day looks like a freaking generic video movie. The opening song is awful. You got 2 and 3 having these badass opening songs. Then you got this movie open with shit. Sleepaway Camp, and it's done awful. Like it was done with, you guys know those programs you use like in school to like do PowerPoints and stuff like that, like Microsoft PowerPoint and stuff like that. It looks like it's done like that, with these newspapers and then the fake looking blood splatters and the generic titles and this song Sleepaway Camp. It's just awful, man. It was shitty. It was fucking shitty. And you have just a bad score. The day scenes look bad. The acting is just horrible. And characters are not written right. It's like you got the same director, returning cast members. Why can't you make it more suspenseful and more serious? You're wanting to go back, because this director doesn't like the second and third movie. Which, I'm sorry. You made this movie, and it's just not, it's not a good movie. But this is what it is. If it was like the second and third movie, it's whatever. But this movie is just horrible. But he was on the second and third movie. So this is supposed to be kind of the real sequel to the first movie. Even that, it's like it's not any near as serious taking, or like you can't take it seriously. The first movie, you at least can believe it's an actual camp and believe these are actual counselors and believe these are because they actually got kids and it looked realistic, like a real camp. In this movie, it's all 20, 30-year-olds again. And it's like, wow, really? That's like the thing about the first movie is the twist, the atmosphere, you know, the camp atmosphere. But all that is forgotten in this movie because all of it, everything in this movie is shit, man, except for the few things I mentioned. And notice how I said ideas for kills. Decent ideas for kills. Because half of these kills have shitty CGI enhancements that ruin the kills. There's like maybe 2 that are practical. The rest of them have CGI blood and CGI fire and CGI burning and CGI splats, and it looks awful. Awful. And so like I said, bad characters. You have these generic stoner guys. One guy is actually called fucking Weed. I shit you not, his name is Weed. And they're just so generic and typical. And then they go on a panty raid in this movie. I'm like, it's 2008 and you're going on a panty raid? Wasn't panty raid way back in the day? Like, wasn't it even being done in the 80s like a far-fetched thing? Like, I don't think in the 80s it was a really big popular thing to go on a panty raid. But in 2008, I can buy it in the 80s. 2008, though, doing a panty raid. In 2008, these people, like, they're like 30, 25 years old, playing, you know, campers. Yeah, right. These counselors all suck in this movie except for Paul D'Angelo. Paul D'Angelo is a good character in this movie. He's actually a decent actor. There's like one scene, and it's the writing's fault, where they made him an unlikable character. That's where he's freaking out, and this girl goes, "Who are you, Angela? Who are you?" And I'm like, where'd this come from? It just goes from 0 to 100 real quick. He's like, you know, you're always there when Alan gets picked on. And then he flips out, and I'm like, what the? It's weird, man. It was out of nowhere. And you have just awful characters, awful acting. The plot is 0 to none. I don't give a shit about anything that happens in this movie. And it's just a shame. It's a shame because it could have been so good. Think about it. A capable, well done Sleepaway Camp 4. Or Return to Sleepaway, because there is a Sleepaway Camp 4. Which, will I review it? I don't know. After seeing this movie, I gotta take a break from this series to kind of get my mental state back to shape after seeing this shitty movie, because I love the first 3 to death. I'm a huge fan of the first 3 movies. All 3 of them. I love all 3 of the first 3 movies. Fuck Sleepaway Camp for the Survivor. Fuck it. I don't care about that fucking stock footage fucking fest of a film. But this is an actual movie. That's why I'm also pissed. It's an actual full-fledged movie, and it has returning cast members, it has a returning director, it has some decent stuff in it, but everything is just clouded. It's all clouded as shit. It's all clouded in it. And I just didn't care about the plot. The movie doesn't really... I mean, it's just a movie to laugh at. It really is. You're laughing at it. You're thinking, man, this is embarrassing, man. I'm over here laughing at this movie because of how bad it looks and how bad the acting is and how bad the characters are. It's just a bad movie. Laughably bad. And, you know, these people are getting killed off one by one. I think it's Alan, and Alan is supposed to be this lead character who, like I said, sucks. It's, that's all he does of the entire movie. And, you shut up. You know, your ass smells. That's all he does for the whole movie. And like I said, I blame the writing. I don't blame the acting. I blame the writing. Because the writing in this movie is really bad. Really, really bad. And I think this movie was a bad production, too. Because I think when they started, I think from what my friend John said, my friend John Grande, I think he said that this movie was like started in like, what, 2003 and didn't come out until 2008? Really? And I just heard the director doesn't even like the movie. I'm pretty sure that the cast doesn't either. It's just not a very well-made movie. And by the ending, I just didn't care. Because I already knew the twist. I didn't care if it got spoiled for me. I already know what the twist is. You know what the twist is? There's a great twist. You want to hear what this great, awesome fucking twist? Okay, so this cop is in this movie who has throat cancer. And they speak with this little thing, you know, those voice boxes that people speak with when they have cancer. And that affects their vocal cords, so he speaks with this little box. and he's just a side character the whole movie, and he ends up being Angela in disguise. I'm like, that is one of the shittiest fucking things you could ever do in this movie, because you're telling me you got Jonathan Tiersten, you got Felissa Rose, you've got Paul D'Angelo, and you got Robert Hiltzik. I'm pretty sure you got more people in this movie too from the original. I don't know, those might be the only ones, but still. That alone, that cast and crew alone could have made a fantastic sequel. Can you imagine this movie with actual effort put into it? You know, with the wantiness of this to be a good movie, they could have pulled it off. You could have had Jonathan Tiersten coming back and being a serious role and being like he was in the first movie, and Paul D'Angelo the lead, and no, you don't. You could have Felissa Rose playing Angela, having fun with the role, killing people. You could have had so much fun with it, but no. Had to make it to where you think it's this just overweight guy who just screams and whines all the time. Let's make people think that it's him instead of it being Angela. I'm like, so you got Felissa Rose. It's not like they signed cameo deals. No, these guys signed full-fledged film deals. They're in the movies more than once, which means they're not cameos. They're in the movie like a decent amount of times. So you're telling me you bring them back and give them nothing to do at all? Nada? Zero? It's ridiculous. And it's a shame. And the twist is that Felissa Rose is back. They all shout Angela in the movie ends, and I just want it to end. And this movie is just a shameful sequel. It really is. I love 1. I love 2. I love 3. But I absolutely hate this one, man. I absolutely hate it. I think it's garbage. Bad direction, bad acting, bad everything, man. There's some decent stuff in it, some decently shot sequences, and some decent effects, not effects, but decent ideas for kills and that. But overall, man, this movie is just horrible. It is horrendous. It's bad. I wouldn't recommend it. Just stick with the first 3. Fuck Sleepaway Camp. I almost said fuck Superman 4. Fuck that movie too, but fuck Sleepaway Camp 4. And fuck this movie. They're just both bad movies. And I haven't even seen Sleepaway Camp 4 yet, and I already know it's a bad movie. But this is just god-awful. God-awful. Just don't see it. It's a waste of time. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching my review on this movie. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys had some laughs. Like I said, don't take these reviews so seriously. I'm just letting steam off my chest and having a fun time doing it. And hopefully providing some comedy for you guys. So if you guys laugh, job well done. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching the review. Let me know your guys' thoughts on Sleepaway Camp, or Return to Sleepaway Camp, and also the series. Like, let me know your guys' thoughts on the series. If you guys like Sleepaway Camp, if you guys don't, let me know. That's all I gotta say. This movie is shit, and it's awful. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys had some laughs, and I will see you guys in the next review. The Explorer of Horror is out. See you guys.